You asked for it and we went back into the kitchen to deliver. In this video we will compare 3 additional brownie recipes which our viewers have suggested to rebake. Claire Saffitz with her milk chocolate brownie edition, Joshua Weissman a very basic but high quality recipe, and Adam Ragusea whose recipe sounds exotic and experimental with condensed milk, powdered sugar and molasses. In our last video we compared 3 brownie recipes of Brian Lagerstrom, Babish and the viral Reddit recipe. The winner was Babish with a close second of Brian. Reddit was a bit disappointing next to the other 2 recipes and was way over the top on the sweetness department. Click here to see the full video. Some of our viewers requested to try Joshua Weissmann's, Claire Saffitz and Adam Ragusea's fudgy brownie recipes. So here we are with another brownie battle. Let's get started. On the left side you see Joshua's version, in the middle Adam's, and on the right side is Claire's brownie. All 3 rested in the fridge overnight and we just took them out about 30 minutes ago prior to filming this scene. Each brownie looks very yummy and has a nice shiny papery crust, but Adam's brownie definitely has the nicest crust. Joshua's rebake looks a little bit dry and very dark, and Claire's looks good and maybe even better than her result in her video, to be honest. Let's get started with rebaking Joshua's brownie recipe. To put it bluntly, there was nothing special and new about Joshua's recipe, and actually it is very similar to Reddit's. However, simple doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, right? Regarding techniques, there's nothing very complicated. Simply put everything together in a bowl, no hand mixer needed, just make sure that the eggs are whisked in thoroughly. This is so super easy and convenient to make, which we like. Maybe the only thing to mention here is the baking time. Joshua does not underbake his brownies like the Reddit recipe in our previous video. He bakes the brownies for about 35 to 40 minutes. In comparison, many other brownie recipes only have a 25-minute baking time for this amount of batter. The ingredients are also very simple. He just uses melted butter but no vegetable oil like many others do for more chewiness. But he has a second brownie recipe, the chewy brownies, where he uses vegetable oil and which is more similar to Babish recipe. However, we are comparing fudgy brownies in this video, so we picked this version. And 2 more things, there is only white sugar in this recipe and he uses no melted chocolate in the batter but only folds in chocolate chips at the end. So here we go, this is the result of Joshua's recipe. As mentioned, the brownie looks very dark, even though there is no melted chocolate in the batter. It looks fudgy, but maybe a tiny little bit dry. Let's try them. These are also on the sweet side. You can taste a lot of sugar and maybe a little bit of chocolate. The amount of sugar makes the chocolate taste very mild and not what you'd expect with the amount of dark chocolate. But it's a decent brownie taste, so overall it's actually good. The texture is also solid. They are kind of fudgy but not dense enough, more cake-like fudgy. Overall this is a decent brownie but nothing special. Babish version had a better texture and Brian Lagerstrom's version tasted much better. So Joshua takes the 3rd place for now when taking into account our previous video. Let's move on to the next brownie and the most interesting one. Adam Ragusea's version has some ingredients and techniques that we haven't seen before. His very special and secret ingredient is sweetened condensed milk, which is supposed to give the brownie a milky, marshmallowy taste and should make the brownie very chewy and fudgy. He uses powdered sugar instead of brown or custard sugar. The powdered sugar is one trick he uses to get this papery skin on the brownie. To still get the flavor of brown sugar, he adds molasses to the batter, as brown sugar is just regular sugar and molasses. He only uses 1 egg yolk and that's it. He explicitly states not to use egg white as this will make the brownie cakey. And he also does not use melted chocolate in his batter. His preparation techniques: he also starts out by browning the butter. He then adds cocoa powder into the browned butter and lets it boil a little bit over medium heat to intensify the chocolate taste. He just mixes the condensed milk and powdered sugar into the same pot where he melted the butter. So super easy, simple and not too many dishes to wash. And believe me, you do not want to wash too many kitchen utensils that are covered with this sticky batter. He bakes the brownie at lower heat compared to all other recipes to prevent the skin of the brownie from burning. Adam suggests to take the brownie out of the oven after 30 minutes if you like them super fudgy, so this is what we did. So here we go with the taste test. This is the result of Adam's recipe. The look, this brownie looks very nice, papery crust, shiny inside, and it looks super fudgy and chewy. Cutting the brownie is not easy, they are super sticky. The taste, Okay, they are super chewy. It is like you chew on a big piece of caramel. For me, that is way too chewy. Sadly, they are not fudgy at all anymore due to the chewiness. But if you like chewy brownies, then this is your recipe. I would prefer a little less chewiness and a little more fudginess. The taste is surprisingly good. They have a little milky taste, but they are still too sweet and not chocolatey enough. Maybe a quick fix worth trying would be to only use half a jar of condensed milk instead of an entire one. Overall, the taste is better than Joshua's version, but the consistency is too chewy, at least for me. So for this reason, Adam gets a close third place ahead of Joshua. Now let's move on to Claire's version. Claire emphasizes that she likes a chewy and fudgy brownie, but with one condition. The brownies are supposed to be chewy due to the ingredients and the batter preparation techniques, not due to underbaking, which a lot of other viral brownie recipes are. So a very special ingredient is the malted milk powder, which was not easy to find here in Germany. Claire also uses a mixture of vegetable oil and butter like many other recipes. And she also uses brown sugar in addition to white sugar. She adds milk chocolate chips to the brownie batter instead of semi-dark chocolate. Moving on to her techniques, she blooms the cocoa powder, which means she just adds hot water to the cocoa powder to bring out the flavor of the chocolate. We have seen this step before, but nobody explained why they add hot water to cocoa powder. She uses a double boiler to melt the chocolate and butter mixture. She mentioned that the chocolate needs to get melted very gently. Most other recipes do not use this double boiler system, which makes it more convenient. She also just uses a whisk and a bowl where she adds all other ingredients. For very shiny brownies, we are supposed to whisk in the eggs very well and thoroughly by hand. Chill the baked brownies for at least 1 hour in the fridge so that the butter can sit and the brownie gets even chewier. And these are the results of our final contender. The look? Surprisingly, our rebaked brownie looks even better to us than it does in Claire's video. You can see a nice shiny papery crust and the brownie looks very fudgy on the inside. The edges are not cakey at all, just how we like it. Now let's taste the brownie. The taste is very good. To me it definitely tastes better than Joshua's or Adam's brownie. This brownie is not too sweet and has a solid chocolate taste. I do think that using dark chocolate instead of using milk chocolate would make it even better. When comparing it to Brian Lagerstrom's brownie, this one is more simple but doesn't have as many layers of flavor in it. The texture of the brownie is amazing. It is the best one I've had from all 6 recipes that we've tested. It's very fudgy and melts in your mouth. But to give it a mild critique here, the brownie could be a bit more dense or rich to make it perfect. Overall, taste-wise, this brownie isn't as interesting as Brian Lagerstrom's, but settles in right behind him. On the texture side, this brownie is the winner from all contenders we've tested. And in the end, this makes the recipe our top choice from all 6 recipes. For next time, we will come up with our own Brownie Beyond recipe, where we will try to combine all the best features and learnings from Claire's, Babish and Brian Lagerstrom's recipes. Give us a like and follow us to find out if we will succeed.